I'm looking all calm and relaxed, but I'm not always like that on a Tuesday. And Tuesday is the day when I host a Zoom flower class from my home. So I thought you might like to see what happens on the day of the life of a florist, or particularly for me, on a Tuesday as I get ready for class. Before my classes even start, there's been a lot of behind the works planning going on. So I've got a programme of what I'm going to be teaching. I send out handouts in advance. And then on the day of the class or the day before the class, I need to go out and source my own flowers. So you can see here that I've been to the supermarket to buy a late summer selection of flowers. I generally always buy my flowers from a supermarket ready for class, and there's a couple of reasons for that. The first reason is that we don't actually have many flowers growing in our garden, and as you can see out of my kitchen window, our garden is mainly have shrubs growing in it, so I've got a very limited source of flowers. I could buy my flowers from a high street florist or go to a wholesaler, but I think that puts off the ladies who come to flower class, so that's the reason why I buy my flowers from a supermarket, because the majority of ladies that come to my classes always also buy their flowers from the supermarket. It's just something that they can pick up readily and easily when they do their weekly shop. But as their skills progress, I do find that more and more of them do like to go to the florist to choose the one-off flowers, the beautiful flowers, the more interesting flowers than you can get at the supermarket. So the first thing I need to do is to condition my flowers. So that's the technical word that florists and flower arrangers use. You'll see in front of me I've got a clear bucket that I've filled up with water, and I'm now adding my flower food. And when you use your own flower food, you just need to check how much water you need in relation to the flower food. So that was 1 litre of water with my sachet that said it to be made up with 1 litre of water. Sometimes you'll find the sachets say half a litre, and therefore you'd need to add half a litre of water. So the first thing I do, I've opened the cellophane wrap on my flowers, and I'm using these asters here. There's a purple aster. They also come in a white and a sort of shocking deep pink as well. And what I'm doing is using my hands to take off the lower leaves, anything that's going to sit within that water. If you do leave leaves on your stems in the water, they will start to rot, and that will shorten the life of your flowers. And if you've ever done it before, you'll have noticed that your water goes from a very clear state to looking like pond water. And the reason my water is looking a little bit cloudy at the moment is because I'm just waiting for my flower food to dissolve. And as you've just seen there, one of my flower heads had popped off. And if you're buying flowers from the supermarket, you just need to bear in mind that probably there's been lots of other people at that self-service stand taking the flowers out of the bucket, putting the flowers back. And sometimes you might get, a number of heads that are broken or missing. But I would say particularly when I buy roses, just make sure you know how many stems you've got in your pack of roses, and it might be worthwhile just counting how many flower heads you've got on your head at the other end too. So quite often you think you're buying a dozen roses, but actually when you get home, only 10 of them have actually got their flower heads attached to the stalks. Once I've got all my asters up in the water, and then working through my next bunch of flowers, so I'm using my scissors to glide through that cellophane, and then I take the elastic bands off the ends of the flowers too. Sometimes there's like a little elastic I just cut through, but when it's actually an elastic band, I do try and save them because they are very useful around the house. And then I pull off the flower food, and you'll notice I'm not actually going to be using that sachet of flower food because I've got enough flower food in my bucket that will feed and look after all the flowers I'm going to be using today. So I don't know about you, but I end up with a kitchen drawer full of these sachets. But it is handy if I ever cut from my garden or buy flowers from a flower market or a flower stall in town. I know I've always got a ready supply of flower food. My roses have got lovely straight stems. You can see me here, I've bundled them in my hand and then turn them the other way round, and I'm going through individually recutting the stems at a sharp point. You'll find when you buy your flowers, normally they've been cut by a machine and they've all got a very square cut at the end, and that seals up over time. But also if you don't recut your stems, they're just lying flat on the bottom of your vase, so the water's got no chance of getting up them. So you're cutting the stems for two reasons. One is to take off the sealed part at the end of the stem, and number two, you're cutting them at an angle in order that they can stand on tiptoes in your vase or your bucket, but also it opens up a greater surface area of the vessels inside your stem, so the water will be taken up more easily. As you can see, looking after your flowers makes quite a lot of mess, so what I do is I collect all my trimmings in a bucket that I then put in our composting bin, and then the elastic bands I save, the flower food I save, and the cellophane, that just goes straight into the bin. And then you carry on repeating the process, so it doesn't take too long, but you just have to be, quite mindful of what you're doing. You're in a production line. Your task is, as soon as you get home, to get these flowers in water so they can bring them back to life and rehydrate them so they're going to last as long as possible. Now, what I'm showing you here are the little node points in the spray carnations. You'll get this on carnations as well. There's a little weak point at those knuckles, so when you do trim your stem ends, always aim to cut them between those little node points or those knobbly bits on the stems. And when you're putting your flowers in your bucket, especially when your bucket's getting full, is to make sure your stems are actually reaching the bottom of the bucket, that are actually in water. Sometimes when you've got loads and loads of flowers, if they go in at an angle, you'll discover that they haven't actually been in water, and of course they will die off because they haven't got the water keeping them alive. So here is the last bundle of flowers. I've got some sunflowers, quite sturdy stems, so you'll have to have quite strong scissors to cut through these, and it might be a chance, if you have got a floristry knife, to actually cut your stems with a floristry knife, so you've just got a bit more control. So if you're not hosting a class but you're going to a class, you'll need to go through exactly the same process that I've gone through here. Unwrap your flowers, take them out of the cellophane, take away the elastic bands, recut the stems, put them into a bucket of fresh water, add your flower food, and then you'll be all ready and set for class. So if I was travelling to a class, I would put this bucket of flowers in the footwell on the passenger seat at the back of the car. It just holds them upright. But of course, these are just going to stay in my kitchen because I host my Zoom flower classes from my kitchen table. And I should perhaps have said that the third reason that I buy my flowers in the supermarket is that they're affordable, as you can see from those prices there. And a lot of the flowers are British grown. So here they are, ready and waiting, all ready for class. And this is what I love about teaching. I get to enjoy these flowers at home before we've even got creative with them. Let me know in the comments which flowers grab your attention. Do you love the purple asters or your sunflowers the favourite? And what about those old workhorses, the spray carnations, which seem to be in every single bunch of flowers you buy? Or perhaps yellow roses have stolen your heart. A vital part of behind the scenes classes is advertising and promotion. So I do regular Facebook Lives over on my page, Julie Davis Flower Workshops. Do check it out. I'll leave a link in the description under the video, but also in my Facebook group, which is Flower Start World.
Hello, good morning. It's Julie here, your host of Flower Start World. It's Zoom flower class today, so I have conditioned all my flowers and put them in a big bucket ready to use in class.
I'm going to mute this section here, but this is just one of my regular live videos I do in my Facebook group. So part of it is to remind the ladies who signed up to class that they need to check their email and sign in at 12 o'clock on a Tuesday, but also these kind of videos are to encourage those ladies who don't yet feel confident to join the class or are a bit uncertain about what the class is about, just to try and give them a sneak peek into what we're happening, just to create a little bit of interest and a bit of vibe around what we're going to be doing. As I've already said, my classes take place on Zoom every Tuesday, or regularly on Tuesday at 12 noon. So I have to convert my kitchen into my filming studio. So you see me here, it's probably about 20 past 11 in the morning. So I've got a good 40 minutes before class starts. So I'm packing away family life and getting ready to convert my kitchen area into my filming studio. So I take the protective tablecloth off my kitchen table to reveal the natural pine. I've just moved the chairs to one side so they're not going to be in shot when I start filming, and I always move my knife block. It's handily there for the cooker, but when I'm actually filming, that part of the cooker is out of shot. And then I bring back in my flowers. So here I've had them conditioning in my bucket, but to make them more accessible and look more attractive, I've decanted them into individual containers. So I've got my sunflowers in the tall enamel jug, which you would have seen on my kitchen windowsill during the Facebook Live element. And then the pink and white jug, which is actually gifted to me. So thank you very much to my Instagram fan who gave me that jug. And then the rest of the flowers in my bucket. And then it's a matter of making do with what I've got. So I'm using my kitchen bar stool as a little side table. I'm showing my green bottles. They're going to be something I'm using for class on the next class. So it's always a bit of showing what we're going to do and showing what we've done. So this little container with the straws was what we made the previous week. So I always like to remind people what we've made before and what we're going to make. Some of the ladies sign up for class for the whole 10-week session, but others pick and choose. So again, it's just trying to encourage them to pay as you go for the videos that they've missed, basically. And what we're going to be doing this week of filming is making an arrangement in that little enamel bucket. And then the next thing is to bring my laptop onto the kitchen table. So this involves connecting the extension cable and then just putting a mat over the cable in case anyone wanders into the kitchen while I'm filming so they don't trip up. So sorting all that out, and then we'll almost be ready to start the class. So now my laptop is set up, I click onto the link on Zoom and you can see me there opening up the camera and getting ready for class. So now I'm waiting for everybody else to join the meeting, and then it's all systems go. Now this is the bit of class that the ladies that join live see, but if you ever have asked the recording of one of my classes, you don't see this bit. So here I am talking direct to my laptop, and I'm going to bring in my tripod with my phone so that you can see what I'm doing close up. You can see my hand movements there indicating that's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of there's just a little disruption to the class because I have to move my chair, bring my the tripod into one side, and then check everyone can see my hands because I spotlight that part of the video so it's not on my face. So it's just this is the bit that normally just gets edited out of the videos. So I always say the videos are as live, but I do chop out the beginning when I'm welcoming everybody. I chop out the end when we go to the live Q&A and everyone's video picture is on screen. And then I do chop out this middle bit as I move from speaking to my laptop to using my camera, and then the reverse when I go and leave my camera and go back to talking through the laptop. So at the end of class, the last thing I need to do is to press the big red button to end the meeting. And then once I have done that, the Zoom program automatically downloads the recording of the class. And once that's been downloaded, I can then put that into my video editing app, edit out the bits I don't want to appear in the video. So that's the general chat we have at the beginning and the live Q&A at the end. So at this point in the day, there's an awful lot of waiting around. I have to wait for the video to download, and then I have to put it onto my Google Drive in order that I can import it to my video editing app as well. So it just feels that the class is one small part of the day, and I do spend an awful lot of time waiting for my computer to move me on to the next section in order that I can get this video out to the ladies who miss class and those that want to re-watch it after class. I always like to add in a few stills to my videos just so the ladies can see exactly what I was working on, and those also go on to become some thumbnails for the video and just some extra illustrations in the email that I send out. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, something a little bit different. And if you're thinking that you'd like to host your own creative classes, why don't you get in touch? I'd be more than happy to share some of my hints and tips with you. That's all from me for now, and I'll see you again next time.